One of the most dangerous things that a human being can lose is not intelligence. It's the willingness to question what feels emotionally useful. Many people don't believe things simply because they're true. They believe things because those beliefs provide psychological comfort. Sometimes beliefs provide identity, community, meaning, moral superiority, emotional protection. And once a belief becomes emotionally necessary, people often begin protecting it, even when reality contradicts it. Human beings are storytelling creatures. We build narratives about ourselves, our families, our nations, our suffering, our enemies, and even our purpose. And these stories help us organize reality. Without them, the world feels chaotic. But stories have a hidden danger. The more emotionally attached we become to a narrative, the harder it becomes to examine it honestly, especially when that narrative protects our identity, preserves our ego, or explains our pain. See, complex truths are mentally exhausting. Simpler explanations feel safer, which is why people naturally gravitate toward narratives like everything is their fault. We are completely innocent. Our side is morally superior. The world is divided into good people and evil people. And these narratives reduce psychological tension. News headlines splitting into black and white, good versus evil imagery. But reality is rarely that clean. Human beings are contradictory. Nations are contradictory. Movements are contradictory. Even victims can become oppressors under the right conditions. And that complexity threatens emotionally satisfying stories. Once beliefs fuse with identity, disagreement stops feeling intellectual. It starts feeling personal. This is why people often react emotionally to information that challenges their worldview. Not because the information is automatically false, but because identity feels under attack. Think carefully about this. If someone has built their politics, their morality, their social identity, and their emotional security around a specific narrative, then changing their mind may feel psychologically terrifying because changing the belief maybe require changing themselves. So, why do false or incomplete narratives survive for so long? It's because narratives are often rewarded politically, socially, emotionally, financially. Some narratives generate votes, some generate outrage, some generate profit, and some generate social status. And once institutions begin benefiting from a narrative, these same institutions often help to preserve it, even when reality becomes more complicated. But perhaps the strongest force protecting false narratives isn't ignorance. Maybe it's fear. See, human beings are deeply social creatures, and most people fear rejection and isolation, humiliation, and exclusion, which means many people privately question things that they publicly pretend to believe because social belonging often feels important, more important than intellectual honesty. Maybe this is why genuinely independent thinking is so rare, because independent thought comes with a psychological cost. It can create loneliness, misunderstanding, criticism, and social tension, especially when people begin questioning emotionally protected narratives. But history repeatedly shows us something important. Societies that lose the ability to question themselves honestly often become trapped by their own illusions. The goal of questioning narratives is not cynicism, and it's not rebellion for its own sake. The goal is a more clear understanding even when the truth feels uncomfortable. Because emotionally satisfying beliefs aren't always accurate beliefs. And perhaps maturity begins when a person becomes willing to examine the stories that they most want to protect. So let me ask you, do people believe false narratives because they're deceived or because the narratives provide emotional comfort? Let me know what you think.